What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another auction mock draft on ESPN. Got a 12-person PPR league filled up, full. Hopefully there's not too many auto drafters. A lot's going on in the past week in terms of injuries, ranking adjustments, players, just basic, a lot of stuff that's changed. So we'll see how this affects, auction drafts now. So our strategy this one is going to be similar, get that elite talent, try to make sure we get some good prices, and then, find some discounts throughout the draft. So we're starting with Ja'Marr Chase, and you can see right off the bat, $74, a little out of my range. I have my auction values on this page opened up. I like to have this open when I do my drafts. All right, so $74 on Ja'Marr Chase. It's probably some of the most expensive players I've seen so far. You got Bijan here. Get involved for Bijan. I think he's a potential running back one for this year. I'll go up to, I think I have him at $66. I'll go up to that price. See if we can get some elite talent here. And there we go, $63. Completely cool with that. It's actually a little bit below what I was, willing to pay for him. Really good player to build your team around. There's a lot of good, cheaper running backs you can fill in the other running back slot with, especially when you have an anchor, like Bijan. So right now I'm recording this on August 18th. A couple weeks out from the start of the season. We just finished up week 2 of the preseason. Some notable changes there. My favorite at least would be Warren. I thought Warren, played really well. He played every snap with the starters, multiple targets, had a 25-yard reception. If he can get some good quarterback play, it could be really interesting. Got Saquon Barkley here, $63. So he's going for just about how much I paid for Bijan. So it's a pretty good benchmark. I had them equally priced, but some people, they prefer Bijan over Saquon. I pretty much have them neck and neck. So Saquon goes for so same price as what I got Bijan for. Completely cool with that. So we got Jahmyr Gibbs here. Keep getting active, getting these prices up. Gibbs, I'm not as high on, but I actually am. I have a 3 overall or third running back, off the board. It was $69 or $68. It's just too much for me. If there wasn't, David Montgomery, I would feel way more confident. He'd probably be my running back one, a potential player, total best fantasy player of the year projection if there was no Montgomery, but unfortunately there is. His numbers were extremely good without Montgomery playing, but with Montgomery, they slightly dipped. Still really good numbers, but you can see for $79, I mean, I don't really understand it. People are going to waste their budget. Yeah, 78 on Gibbs, so $16. How much? Yeah, $15 cheaper than we got. Bijan for. So right here, I want to nominate someone who I think is going to go for a little bit more than they should. I'm going to try quarterback. Sometimes that first quarterback nominated really helps set the market. Hopefully they overpay, so other people overpay for other good quarterbacks. We'll see how this turns out. So I have him ranked. I have him with a value of $32. Yeah, we're already at 50. These guys just bid against each other. Not really sure what's going on, but $55. I mean, this is kind of rare. You don't really see that often, but sometimes players really get bid up if someone really wants them. So we got Malik Neighbors here. Now, Neighbors is one person we got to talk about. Another injury. These little nagging injuries really add up. I mean, I really don't like kind of how it's been in the off season. You see a highlight of Neighbors the one day, and the next day you see he's not practicing due to foot injury, toe injuries. It's not really what I would want. Like, I wouldn't really be comfortable spending $60 with a player who I'm not really confident in being 100% healthy by the time the season starts. I mean, one of the worst things you can do is draft players that are injured before the season starts. Really tough. We saw that last year with McCaffrey. Now his was more last minute. But yeah, don't draft players that are injured. Also, since the last mock draft Monday, James Cook just got a new contract. He's officially back at practice. He's there, the number one guy in Buffalo. A really good player. I have him at $32, so I think I'll bid this up here a little bit. Take 28, see if that gets him. A lot of touchdown upside. I mean, we saw that last year. When you get these running backs, in elite offenses, even with a rushing quarterback, you can still get, tremendous fantasy, output. All right, so we're about 6 picks through. Got one of our star players. Got him for a good price. Definitely a good spot. Other people have overpaid. Some people are already, almost out of it. One more player, and they will be. So we got Brock Bowers going here, tight end. Definitely get that price up. Not for 40. Bowers, he looked phenomenal against. He was the 49ers in preseason. I think got a couple of drives. Played really well. A nice catch. He's a little question mark. I mean, while he did, have the best rookie tight end season of all time last year, like his price kind of reflects that, like what he did last year. So if he didn't do a lot to me, outperform what he did last year, and at $40, I mean, there's a lot of cheaper tight ends I really liked. I'll take a shot on. All right, so we got Ladd McConkey. Got McConkey at $34. I haven't read about his average auction value. Keenan Allen came in. His price dipped a teeny bit, but I'm not really worried about Allen. $37 on McConkey. All right, so there's some teams that have two players right now. I'm not really worried about how long it takes me to fill out my roster. Justin Jefferson, so this would be a player I'm interested in. Also has a slight injury concern, but yeah, we'll let him go for this price. $65. I have him at. I have it about the same, but 70. It's too much. See, this guy's got Josh Allen, who paid $55 for. Now he's gonna drop 70 on Justin Jefferson. He's pretty much almost out of it already. So let's go back to our team. And here's another player we can talk about. So a couple days ago, it was reported that he's dealing with a, I guess, unknown to the public lower body muscle strain or something. We don't know if it's, quad, hamstring, calf. We don't know, and I'm especially with running backs. I'm hesitant when it comes to injuries going into the season. They can really just wreck a season pretty easily. So we got CeeDee Lamb. Love CeeDee Lamb this year. He checks pretty much every box that I want. It was only 2 years ago that he was the wide receiver 1 overall in fantasy. So player, I'm willing to go up to about 60. I'll go 64. That's probably what I'll max out at. Yeah. So we'll leave him at 65. Solid price, but when this person gets him, they'll be out of money. So there'll be one less person to compete with for the rest. And here we got Christian McCaffrey. See, McCaffrey, while he does have an injury history, he's healthy going into this season. So it's a player I'd full go for. When he's healthy, he's a top 2 running back when healthy. 64. We'll let him go for this price. In auction drafts right now, going with 2, I guess, heavy round 1 type running backs is not a bad idea, just because of how much value there is later on at the wide receiver position in fantasy. So don't be discouraged, spending $120 on your 2 running backs on your roster. Once you see the value for the wide receiver position, it'll make a lot of sense why this strategy can work really well. So we got AJ Brown. Once again, another player who's not been practicing this week due to injury. Little hesitant on the pass catchers in the Philadelphia offense. Just a little. I don't know how much passing volume there's going to be. Everyone talks about passing the ball more, but you look at what worked last year worked well for the Eagles was running the ball. I don't know why they shy away from that. It's what got them their second Super Bowl ring. So Jonathan Taylor, surprisingly, he's healthy going into this year, the first time in a while. At least we're in a PPR league right here. little more hesitant, just because he doesn't catch a lot of passes, especially this Anthony Richardson at quarterback. He'll take a lot of rushing, goal line attempts out. Yeah, and for 44, we'll let that go. I think there's better prices around that. I'd rather have a Josh Jacobs, and especially a Chase Brown. We'll see if we can get Chase Brown here. His price has been shooting up a lot in auction drafts. I just remember a couple weeks ago it was at $25. Now he's close on 40. So we got Amon-Ra. Now Amon-Ra is actually he's interesting. So new offense, Ben Johnson gone. A lot of talk about Jameson Williams taking that next step, and Amon-Ra falling short. I think he's one of the safest values in auction drafts in terms of that higher upper echelon value of chunk of players. All right, so it's our time to nominate. Nominating the quarterback worked well, so I'm gonna do it again. I like doing Jayden Daniels just because there's a lot more. I feel like the range with him in terms of prices are a lot greater than Lamar. So people really like him, and they'll bid up crazy prices. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with when it's my turn to nominate. Like when it's my turn to nominate, I'm nominating someone I don't want, who's gonna go for a decent amount of money, just so like if he goes for $35, that's 35 less dollars that someone else has to spend on a player I want. If that makes sense. So do that. Let Jane Daniels go. Here we got Puka. Puka. Some news regarding the Rams. Matt Stafford is either going back to practice tomorrow or the next day, but he should be getting a limited practice in some capacity. I'm not really super confident in the health of the late 30s Matt Stafford. These back injuries are never good. Puka also, it's a good price, $54, but the risk, I don't really want to take it right now. Maybe if we get by the time it's a couple days before the season, if you're still drafting and everything looks good to go, then he could be a great value. But some players here that I really like Nico Collins, really like Brian Thomas Jr., Chuba Hubbard. I'm just about marking. I'm about $25 on him. I'm probably going to run it up that high just because I really want one of these two wide receivers right here. That they're great values. And at $23, it's a good price for Chuba. Had his breakout year last year. Offense a little questionable. But yeah. Chuba goes for $24. And just real quick, actually that's been on Brian Thomas real quick. So Brian Thomas, I have him at a value of $55. So I'm gonna be pretty aggressive here. We can get him for $55. I'm cool with that. He's starting to get a lot of hype around the league. Players, a lot of people in auction drafts really like him. So hopefully we get him here, $54. Completely cool with that. I think it's a great price on him. There we go. All right, so here's kind of the strategy I was talking about earlier. Get those two elite guys and fill up the rest later when everyone spends kind of their money. Just curious to see what Nico goes for here. He's probably my, one of my favorite values, at that upper echelon of wide receivers with Brian Thomas Jr. And he's at the same price that I got him for, so I'm not super pissed about that. Let's look at the budget real quick. So you can see this guy has $120 left. 122, 146, got 100. I have 83. It's not a huge deal. This person hasn't spent yet. They're an auto drafter, so they'll definitely start spending soon. This guy's at $67. You see, he went heavy with the Chase and Neighbors. Respect the approach. $74 for Chase. That was a little steep in my opinion. All right, so we got this team, $137. This person is $12. Sometimes with these auto drafters, they kind of go haywire a little bit. So he's done for the rest of the draft. I think his max budget, he can only spend $1. So we don't compete with him at all for any player ever. So that's nice. Same with this person. So they overpaid at Jennifer Jefferson and Allen. So they're out of it. This guy has $59 left. Severely overpaid on Gibbs. So we're looking good there. And this person hasn't spent either. So there's some teams I haven't spent yet. And while it might seem, like a nice strategy to have, everyone else has spent money and you don't. You can see we're pretty much gone when it comes to those top 12, at least top 12, top 15ish players. I mean, we're pretty much done. So I mean, you might get some good values on these players, but I mean, good luck. Trying to compete with players like Terry McLaurin at your wide receiver one or Kyron Williams at your running back one. So we got Genty, first rookie on the block. $59 is a good price. He used to be super expensive. His price dropped down a little bit. He had a really bad, first drive in the first week of preseason. It was like 3 rushes for -1 yards. Second week against the Niners, he really played well. Ran some guys over, got a touchdown. Looks solid. Got Trey McBride here, the second tight end. So we can see this draft, people are really liking tight ends. We're seeing prices go for over their average auction value. Got Drake London. Drake London's a player I really like. I kind of keep him in that similar tier to Brian Harris Jr. So we got 48. It's a fair price. I mean, we could technically bid on these players, but I want one more, kind of, $30-ish player. Like if we could get Chase Brown for 38, I'd be cool with that. I can make that work. Devontae Adams is a player I'm staying away from. Many reasons. You can check out my channel. I made a video on three wide receivers I think are overpriced. He was one of them. I mean, he's going to be 33 this year. New offense, new quarterbacks. Quarterback doesn't look healthy yet. He's got to compete with Puka. That's about it. Just don't really, I like the player. I just don't like the value at all. He ended up going for $38. So Bucky Irving here. Let's see what we can get him for. And you can see people's budgets are starting to, creep down to like almost, I'd say about half of these budgets are, below $100, including us. So there's a lot of teams that are running out of money. Another player I want to talk about is TreVeyon Henderson. Made a video about, actually real quick, let's nominate real quick. So I'm going to keep it with the same thing we're doing, just nominate quarterbacks. TreVeyon Henderson, his price is $20 now. I made a video a couple weeks ago about 5 running back values that were really good. At the time, I mean, TreVeyon was going for like $6, $5 or something. However, he's had an insanely good preseason, and his price is skyrocketing. It's getting to the point where it's a little too much, in my opinion. I think there's better values, safer values. I would say he's more about an upside play. So there we go. So you see, we nominated Lamar, and he went for $36. So I'm completely cool with that. D Higgins another player I'm staying away from. Issue staying healthy. He's wide receiver 2 in his own offense. George, all I'll say. I really want to be targeting Chase Brown here. And Higgins goes for almost 40. And Breece Hall I'm been on him. He's a great value. A lot of worries about like the backfield in a committee and stuff. 14. I'll pay 14 all day long. Great value. We'll leave it at 15 though. There's some other guys I want to get. Need this guy's got to get his budget down a little bit. All right, so Chase Brown. I'm gonna go up to 40 on him. He's one of the best running backs in the league in fantasy wise. He checks kind of every box you want. He was great last year. Yeah, see, everyone loves him this year. His price is just skyrocketing. I've seen him go for nearly $50 before. Leave it at 42. This will knock this person's budget pretty much to zero. One less person we got to compete with. We got Jalen Hurts. We've been on see what Hurts is going to go for. I think it's a solid price. I mean, I'd rather have him than Jane Daniels. Seen a wide range of prices for these QBs in auction mock drafts this season. Let me know what you guys are seeing in your auction drafts. Either you've had your main league draft, or just you're doing mock drafts here, or on Sleeper, Yahoo, other leagues. So Tyreek, he's interesting. His upside's there. If Tua can stay healthy, if he can stay healthy, he can have a little bit better season than last year. In terms of like efficiency, he could really be a value at $37. But as you can see, people are also a little nervous on him, so we'll let him go. We're in a good spot right now. Probably that I really like is Jackson Jigba. I think he's a great value. Same with Hampton, George Kittle. We'll see what happens. So Terry McLaurin is back at practice. A lot of rumors about him leaving. He's been wanting a new contract. Deservedly so. He had a great year last year. I don't like getting players that are like sitting out in preseason due to like contract issues and stuff. It never really works well. You saw what happened to Ayuk last year. CeeDee Lamb started slow. These are really important time to get chemistry with your quarterback, just getting reps, getting familiar with the scheme, and just kind of getting in football shape. So Kyren Williams, $29. So let him go for $29. I think it's a solid value. I'm a little worried about his efficiency. He wasn't really super efficient last year. Just got a lot of touches. So JSN, really like JSN this year. I think he's a great value. He was like the wide receiver 7 in total points last year. A lot of issues, a lot of people nervous about Darnold. But I mean, not super worried about. Just so many targets left that offense when Kupp left, or not Kupp, when DK left, when Lockett left. We'll take him for 28. Completely cool paying that. So we got three kind of our core three, and now we got $55 left. We're probably gonna end up going cheap at quarterback. Might maybe see if we can snag one like around $10 player, to get our flex position right. Maybe like a Calvin Ridley if we can get lucky, or maybe a Jalen Waddle, Ted McMillan. So here we got Hampton going up. Hampton's price has really been going up too. He only played one drive in the first preseason game. Didn't look like bad, didn't look insane either, but his price has been going up. Najee's back in practice though, so he'll definitely be taking some work away. So we got Baker. These pocket passing quarterbacks, I'm not spending more than $5. So $9 on Baker. It's cool. His head is Liam Cohen's gone. I don't know if I'd really want him right now. Got Garrett Wilson. So his price has been plummeting. People really don't feel confident in this Justin Fields, passing offense. I don't blame him, but I mean, there's just no one else to compete with targets with. Like, he's competing with he's pretty much competing with Breece Hall for targets. For being honest, they have nobody else in that team. Our turn to nominate, and we're gonna make it 4 for 4. We're gonna nominate our 4th quarterback. Get these budgets a little lower. We do a budget check right now. A lot of teams are kind of low. A lot of teams are either at or below what we're at right now. So people are completely done already. We got 17, 12, 27, 23. They're pretty much done bidding. Like, if you go to their max offers, they can offer $5, $1. Really keep dropping down. I love our team personally. I think we got one of the strongest, cores. We got potentially the top running back. Got one of the top wide receivers in his second year. And then we got another young third-year wide receiver who just finished the top 10 guy. So we got George Kittle going here. $25, $24. It's fair price. I think he's honestly a better value than the other 2 tight ends above him. You can't really think about spending $40+ on a tight end when there's so many good, late round options. He's got Kamara. Kamara's a solid value. If this offense can be like just a little bit better than people are expecting, he should be good value, but it's not looking good in terms of preseason. James Conner. Conner looking like he's going to go for around 18. It's a solid value. He's old, but he's been delivering every year. You think they'd slow down a little bit. So Kenneth Walker, another player that has been in the news, dealing with some weird, not always weird, like some type of ankle injury or lower leg injury. He's like missing some practice, and the coaches he's fine, and then they say he's taking a rest day and a lot of stuff. I will say this: on Friday, the Seattle starters played against the Chiefs preseason, and the first drive they had their starters in. Charbonnet was so good. I think he had like 4 rushes for like 45 yards and a touchdown. He looked so good. If Kenneth Walker misses any time, I mean, he's a top 12 running back. He looks so good. He's catching the ball. He's getting goal line work. This offense might be better than people expect, especially Clint Kubiak on West Coast, more efficient yards. So Henderson, $17. I mean, that's a little more fair. So right now, I think we should be able to snag. I would say probably one more player that's above like $10. For me, it's probably going to be might be Courtland Sutton, either Courtland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, maybe a DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a little interesting. His price has been going down week over week. I'm not really sure why. Offense looked solid in their last preseason game. They played a couple drives. We got Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison is a player. I mean, he was going for like $40 last year, and that kind of blew up. $16, a lot more reasonable. Still, I'm a little worried about it. I wouldn't go for him. Same with Xavier Worthy. I'm saying far away from. He was not like his fantasy. He averaged like 10. I think it was like 11 points a game last year. And that was without Rice. Rice was gone after week 3. Hollywood Brown pretty much missed the entire season. I think he came back like week 16 or something. That was with Kelsey playing, the worst year of his career, and he barely scored over 10 points. I'd rather just get Rashee Rice. The news with him is that he's going to play the first 4 weeks, and they're going to announce his or have some type of meeting to determine his length of suspension midway through the season. So that's kind of the thing that's people are worried about is they'd rather him just miss the first 4 weeks than potentially miss a playoff week if he gets a 10-game suspension. But we'll see. If we can get him for $10, I'll pay that. We have good enough wide receivers that we can do without some weeks from Rashee Rice. 14 or 15, yeah, I'm going with that. I'll let that go. A little. It's a solid value. He could really pay off if he only misses a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks would be really good. Zay Flowers, he's a player. I mean, I'll pay $10 for him. I'm not paying $13. Just very inconsistent. I don't like these wide receivers, kind of like Jameson Williams. They get you, 40 points 1 week, and they get you 4 the other. I'd rather, for this price, give me the guy that's going to give me 12 and a half, 13 points pretty much every week. So Zay Flowers went for $11. All right, so who do I think is overpriced here? Mahomes, definitely. I mean, he's been a couple years since he's been a relevant quarterback in fantasy. And $9 is a lot of money. A lot of money. So let him go. See what we can get here. Yeah, and $9. Bit of an overpay. So let's set these budgets real quick. So we got 45, 33, 93, 17. We got 55, 14, 23, 28, 12, 27, 17, 45. Calvin Ridley. Love Calvin Ridley this year. I'll pay $12 for him. I'll pay 13 probably. Oh, I paid 14 by accident. I'm cool with 14. I think he's a great wide receiver. Cam Ward looks really good. Really good. So he should pay off. All right. So we got Calvin Ridley. All right. So here's kind of our team. So we can see this isn't budgeting. So we have $41 left. Let's say it's $2 for every bench spot. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 14 plus another 2 for these. That's 16. So we got 41 minus 16, 25. We got $2 here, $7 here. Yeah, so we're in a cool spot. If I can get TJ Hawkinson, I might. If not a huge deal. There's other tight ends I like a little bit later. What else happened yet? Prices like on guys like Pacheco and Pollard have been going up the past week. I think people are starting to realize there's some good value here in these good offenses, specifically like Kansas City with some of these running backs. What else? Tyjae Spears is looking like he's going to miss the rest of the preseason due to like I think it was a high ankle sprain or something. Something happened in preseason game. Ankle sprain, which means Pollard. I mean, if Pollard was so good without Tyjae Spears last year, when Tyjae Spears was off the field, like not playing in the game, he averaged like I think he was like a top like 12 running back. He was so good. So for $7, Pollard's price used to be around like $5. Now it's at $7. $7 is I'm cool with paying $7. I mean, there's a good chance this offense could be better than people expect, and he's getting more red zone opportunities, touchdown looks, especially in the division they're in. I mean, probably one of the weakest divisions in football at the moment. Jameson Williams, not a fan of him. We'll let him go. See who's popping up here. So Courtland Sutton. When it comes to building your team, I'm not someone who is like I have to fill my starting lineup first. Like, there's a good value on a wide receiver here. I would be inclined to take him just because, I mean, injuries happen, bye weeks happen. If a player does well, you can always trade him. It's never a bad idea to have a good player on your bench, ready to put in case something happens. So we got TJ Hawkinson. I'm actually gonna bid on him if we can get him for. Yeah, hold on, go for this price. I was gonna say if we can get him for like $6, I'd be cool with that. 5, but 7, a little out of our range. I want to make sure we get a somewhat decent quarterback, and I think we're gonna go 2 late tight end here. I think we're probably gonna go like Tucker Kraft, Tyler Warren, Colson Loveland, maybe David Njoku. It was named today that Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback in Cleveland, so that is great for Njoku. The last time that happened in 2023, Njoku was like the wide receiver 1 over that span when he was with Flacco. Especially now, they got no other weapons in that offense other than Jerry Jeudy. Got Jalen Waddle here. $10. So if we can look now, the only people I'm really competing with when it comes to bids are going to be Team 3. And that's pretty much it in terms of who I'm competing with. Everyone else has kind of spent their money. Like if you go here and we turn on the max budgets, the max offers, people are like $5, $1. And a lot of these prices will drop once they bid on one player. So we'll turn that back off. RJ Harvey, I'm not super confident in him. J.K. Dobbins is legit. And like, you saw what we did last year. They brought him in for a reason. So I'm cool on that. $6. Let this person have them. How many roster spots? This person's got a lot more roster spots than we do. You only have, what is that, 4 players? I'm cool with that. This person has, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7. I'm not worried at all. At the end, we're all going to have full teams. DeVonta Smith going here. See, this is what I was talking about with like wide receiver value. There's a lot of wide receiver value here. We obviously got Ridley, but I mean, Tevin McMillan's a good deal. Travis Hunter's a good deal. especially here. Like Jacoby Myers is a great deal. Chris Olave's a solid deal. Golden, a lot of good value here. All right, so we're just gonna nominate Kyler Murray and just see what he goes for. If we can get him for like $2, I'd be cool with that. Or $1 potentially. Yeah, no, he's gone. See, some people really do think his rushing upside is enough to warrant it's like $4 you go for. So cool with that. Here we're gonna be targeting if we can get Ted McMillan for a good price. I'll actually probably avoid that. I think I'm just gonna try to get like either Pollard or Pacheco. Definitely Tyrone Tracy, great value. David Njoku. We'll see here. We're definitely be getting pretty actives soon. George Pickens. It's going for $9. All right, so mainly auto drafters here that are left, except for us. When we get closer to the start of the season, more people are going to be more active, because their drafts are right around the corner. I personally have my big money league in a couple weeks, right, a couple days before the season starts. So these are really important for me. Getting ready, seeing what other people are doing in auction drafts, so I can maybe adjust my schedule or adjust my plan. Tony Pollard here. We can get him for $6. I'm taking him. Yeah, we'll let him go for $7. So that means we're probably going to end up getting Pacheco here. Aaron Jones, I'm a little worried about Jordan Mason. They paid him for a reason. Or they traded for him for a reason. A little worried about that. Rome Udunze. Let him go. I just think there's just so many mouths to feed in this offense. I really don't want to be paying a lot of money for any of them. Also, Quinshon Judkins. So I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know if the person he was suing or he was getting sued by settled or something. But he's he's out of jail. He's back. He's back in the NFL, but he actually he hasn't signed that contract yet. So he's obviously not playing. So I don't know. I'm avoiding him personally. Missed a lot of time. All right, so here we go. Pacheco. Pacheco is a player just a couple years ago in 2023, he put up a good year. Last year he was doing well until he broke his lower leg, and he was never the same. They rushed him back. He was not healthy and good to go. I think he's a good value. His price used to be like $3. It's going up a little bit. It's around $6, but I'm cool with paying that. So that's our second running back. Bijan and Pacheco. Cool with that. We also got BTJ and JSN at the wide receivers, and we got Calvin Ridley as our flex. You can see here, people are out of money for the most part, a lot of them. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 players that have $3 or less. There's a maximum offer, so that's really helpful for getting a lot of these players, in that $2 range. It's kind of what my bread and butter is. If you can pick these players out, that's kind of why you want to spend early or spend a lot early, because you're getting those high upside, players that everyone knows about. But you're hitting on these $2 players like a Jaden Reed or something. Like, it's worth it. So Kelsey went there for $4. Hopefully we can get Njoku for around the same. We got a decent amount of money left right now. Really get the pick of the litter when it comes to our bench spots. I like treating the bench as your starting roster. Like, these guys, I want to be able to start any given week. So I'm only doing one defense, one kicker, one QB. I want all these spots, especially early in the season, to see how backfields play out, stuff like that. All right, so we got Bo Nix here. I'm just gonna get like a Dak Prescott or something for like $1 or $2. We saw higher ceilings from him than Bo Nix. So David Njoku, I'm gonna go for him a little bit. Somebody see someone else bids on him. We'll do $5. That should be enough to get him. solid value. We'll also make sure to snag like a Tucker Craft or something, at $1 on our bench. I would say just when you're going cheaper tight ends, I think it's really good to have a second tight end on your bench. I wouldn't say the same for quarterback. I think if you get a cheap quarterback, I mean, there's a lot of. If you got Dak Prescott, I wouldn't want someone else on my bench, but even like a $4 tight end, I'd probably want someone else on my bench just in case, this Browns offense is way worse than expected, or Flacco's not good. They bring in someone else, not good, and yeah, probably gonna end up another tight end on our bench. Chris Godwin, another player, injured. I'm not targeting him. Let's see here. So I'm not in on Cooper Kupp this year, so we'll nominate him. Just see if someone else bids him up, unless we can for $1. Yeah, there we go. $2. And he's gone for $5. So cool with that. It's people wasting their money while we're saving ours. So I always recommend whoever the league manager in your league, when you get to this part of the draft, just have them start the clock a little quicker. Like have it start at 15 seconds or something. It's just gotta get annoying. You have full clocks for these players. They get reset after 10 seconds. Good price on Jacoby Myers here. Definitely be targeting Tyrone Tracy here. Like him. Brock Purdy, I'm cool with. Joe Mixon, I'm not. I don't like getting these players that are injured that aren't healthy going into the season. It's a recipe for disaster. Aaron Jones, let him go. Mark Andrews is a little interesting. Isaiah Likely's injured. He's gonna miss time. Andrews looked bad last year, except for the touchdowns. He ended up with 11. He's an interesting pick. Wouldn't feel super confident. I'd rather feel more confident starting Njoku than Andrews, but if Andrews is back to what he was in 2023, 2, 1, all that, definitely good value. Also, Brian Robinson right now is being talked. He's being shopped around. They're trying to get rid of him. They have a really good rookie running back. I'll show you here. Washington Commanders in Ja'Cory Crossett-Merritt. This guy's been lightening up. A lot of hype with him, but I don't know. A little too early to see what happens to B-Rob first before we start, getting interested in other players. Jaylen Warren, I'm not super high on him this year. He's never been that guy on the offense. They just drafted Caleb Johnson. I'm not in on Caleb Johnson either, to be honest. There's other running backs I like more. I think Tyrone Tracy's good. Cam Scatterbo is extremely overrated. He's been banged up, missing practices. Tyrone Tracy looked really good last year. He used to be a wide receiver in college, so he's a great pass catcher. Gets a lot of check down stuff like that. Diggs he's coming off an injury. He's a solid. For his price, it's actually pretty good, just because there's value in that offense. It's just going to be finding where it is. If he's the guy in that offense, you could see a really good return on your investment when it comes to $4. All right, so here's where we're going to start getting some more players. Everyone else they're pretty much out, except for this guy. But he doesn't have any rent. He's only got 3 spots left, so we're gonna get a lot of players here. I love getting rookie wide receivers that are drafted in the first round. Matthew Golden could be the wide receiver one in his offense, right off the bat. Jaden Reed's currently in a walking boot. He's missing time. Drafted him for a reason, so we'll see. So Matthew Golden, I'm going to pay $5 for. Not sure if I'm going to compete with $5, but pay $4. Hopefully, going to put this price. These are great players to have. They might start a little slow, being rookies, but once they get kind of their foot in the water, they're getting used to it. They're good. You saw that happen last year with players like Bucky Irving, Ladd McConkey. All right, so Brock Purdy. I really like Brock Purdy's a good value this year. Um, he, I mean, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. He's got, CMC back, Kittle's back. You got Ricky Pearsall healthy the whole year. Ayuk looks like he's gonna be healthy halfway through. They lost Debo, but he wasn't looking that good last year. So we're gonna get Brock Purdy here as our quarterback. So that's our starting roster done. So we got Brock Purdy quarterback, Bijan Robinson our running back 1. He's our anchor. We got Isaiah Pacheco as our running back 2. Got two-star wide receivers in BTJ and JSN. Got a veteran tight end in Njoku, but the last time Flacco was on his team, lit it up. Got Calvin Ridley, who I think is primed for a great year. Finally has a good quarterback for the first time since, you can say Matt Ryan, maybe Trevor Lawrence, but he wasn't that great that year. Khalil Shakir, another guy injured. I'm staying away from him. He's only like $2. I mean, this is one of the best offenses in football. So there's going to be some value here. So right now we're going to be targeting Tyrone Tracy. We might get Caleb Johnson if we can get it for cheap. Tyrone Tracy's going to be, our emergency running back. Maybe, after week 1, he's the guy. So we'll nominate him for $1. Hopefully get him for, as cheap as possible. We might be getting to that point where we want to start nominating based on max offers. So we'll pay $4 for him. But that's pretty much it. Let's go back to budgets. Let's see, this person's got $43 left, but their team's pretty much, filled up. They're gonna have a lot of money left over. It's not a huge issue having some money left over. Like, these drafts, are obviously in hindsight, you're like, oh, I could have spent more there, but you don't know until the end. It's kind of like what makes these drafts so good is they're wild. Random stuff happens. Juwan Jennings, I'd probably rather Ricky Pearsall. Jennings is missing some time right now to injuries. He's also wants a new contract. A lot of weird stuff going on there. So let's start queuing some players that I really like. Caleb Johnson, I'm okay with him. We can get honestly probably pass on him. Some players that I really want to get here would be, I might say Judd. I'll probably remove Judkins for now. Yes, he's going for $4. Too much. So I like Dax, my backup quarterback. Ricky Pearsall, players that can outperform their expectations. Emeka Egbuka is the best value in the $1 range. It's not close. If he gets that, that's what do you call it? The role that Chris Godwin had last year in that slot type of role. He was a wide receiver. He was a first round pick. He was just stuck at Ohio State playing behind Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jeremiah Smith, these type of players. He was always probably the most reliable in those offenses. So Joe Mixon, another player who's injured. Injured going to the league. He's got a weird injury. People he's not disclosing any information on it. It's been a mystery. Apparently, this was suffered I don't know if they said back in May. It's that it's that ankle he's had issues before. So I'm staying away. I don't really want him. Right now, I want to be taking shots on a Travis Etienne. This offense, we don't know who's going to be the starting running back. But if you can hit on him for $2, I mean that's great. Kind of like last year with Chase Brown, you hit on him. It took a couple weeks, but eventually he became the best, and you saw what happened now. Now he's going for $40 a year later. All right, so right now everyone doesn't really have any money left over, more roster spots. So what I'm going to probably do is similar to last time, because we're at that $1 range, I'm probably going to end up, stopping the recording here, and you guys can, I'll put a screenshot of my team at the end so you guys can see who I picked up, who I ended up my team with, how much money I had left over, stuff like that. And, I stopped wasting your time. These are the most, probably boring in terms of from a viewer point of view. These parts of the draft, it's just long. Players going for $2, $1. So hope you guys like the video. I'm doing this every Monday up until 3 days before the start of the season. If you want the auction draft guide that I'm using, It's free. If you don't like the values in here, just download a copy, change the values to what you like. It's really helpful to have. It also shows price tracker to see players' prices in the off season, who's trending up, who's trending down, where some good values are. But yeah, the link for that will be in the description below. Got some other views coming this week, some more tier lists. Working on a Vegas lines for every position, so quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Kind of similar to what I made early in the year, but this is a lot more accurate with more recent lines. And so yeah, make sure to check out those videos. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.